Welcome back to Let's Talk DeKalb. We have hundreds of thousands of residents here in DeKalb County, and we also have thousands of businesses, and that means we produce a fair amount of waste. And what that also means that we have a landfill, superior quality landfill, to take care of that. Here to talk about it, give us all the dirt on the details, so to speak, is Billy Malone, the Assistant Director for Sanitation at DeKalb County. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about that landfill, because I imagine I was guilty of this too before I did some stories on it, that I just knew that the trash was conveniently placed at the curb and magically disappeared twice a week. So, you know, it has to be dealt with. Can you tell us a little bit about the operations at the Seminole Landfill?
Sure. The Seminole Landfill was actually constructed to be basically the last landfill for DeKalb County. In the early 60s and some of the 50s, they experimented with burning garbage. They experimented with small landfills. And they soon realized that they could not keep that going. So they finally found the final disposition for solid waste, and that's the Seminole Road Landfill. It's actually permitted in 1977.
It's been in operation for a long time, and it's going to continue operations for quite a while because y'all are so responsible with the space and how you dispose of things, right?
We do. We try to follow the best management practice techniques of the industry to getting the maximum garbage per cubic yard as possible. And also, we try to recycle as much as possible, and that has a longevity of our landfill. The more we recycle, the less we have to dispose of.
That's right. I think our recycling program here in the county, I'm a resident and we participate, and couldn't ask for it to be any easier. That's also curbside pickup for everything that you separate and the commingled things as well. But when you said the word recycling, I know another thing that you're here to talk about today is recycling of methane gas. Could you explain a little bit about that at the landfill, those operations? When did you start thinking about doing that?
Well, in the late 1990s, EPA required landfills of a certain size to start flaring off landfill gas, burning it basically. And that takes away the greenhouse gas effects of methane and CO2 that's in the landfill gas. Well, in 2000, we began burning landfill gas in an incinerator ourselves, and we brought the Board of Commissioners and the CEO down to see the site. And they were really amazed. They got out there and they could feel the heat of the flare, but you didn't really see a flame. And they asked us, they said, can't you do something beneficial with this gas? So the CEO asked the staff to look at it and come back with a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners.
All right. Now, you threw in a couple of little technical words, so maybe we could step backwards a little bit and explain where the methane gas, how it's produced, where it comes from.
Well, methane is produced naturally in the world. Natural gas, everybody's got in their houses and stuff like that. It's the same thing that methane gas is. This just happens to be made from man. It comes from the biodegrading of the organic mass in the landfill. Any of the food, any of the paper waste, any of that items rapidly biodegrade, and it produces naturally methane gas as the primary, and then CO2 as a secondary source of gas.
So now this has been, it officially went up into operations, was it 2006?
Well, the conversion went up in operation in 2006. The flare started burning in 2000, but after we started looking for other alternatives than just burning it and find something beneficial to do with it, we found that there was over 400 active landfills doing something beneficial with the landfill gas. Primarily it was making electricity. We found that 350 of them were making electricity, and they were primarily on the West Coast and a few up in the Northeast. And this is where electrical costs happen to be a lot more expensive than down here in the South, where we enjoy very low electrical cost.
So this is pretty innovative stuff, and now we have it in DeKalb County at the Seminole Landfill, right?
Yes, and the way that came about was we looked at the economic performer model, if you will, the business analysis, and we really couldn't make it on the avoided costs in the South because of the electrical prices are so low. That's avoided costs is what Georgia Power or any other utility has to pay you if you make electricity. But in the year 2004, Georgia Power put out a RFP. They have never made renewable green energy at Georgia Power. So in 2004, they wanted to add it to their portfolio, so I went to the Board of Commissioners and requested a bid on it. And
Which
it
is
was
the RFP that you were
it's the
talking about for
RFP,
people that don't know.
and it was successful, and we were very proud that we were awarded it. Georgia Power definitely wanted to make the site visible because this was their maiden voyage, if you will, into renewable green energy.
All right, and it's really making an impression really around the world, right? We were talking earlier, and tell us a little bit about who comes to see this site.
Well, again, Georgia Power wanted to make it very visible, and the county wanted to be visible. I mean, we're a public entity, so we want to bring tours out. We have local groups from the Cedar Grove that come out every year just to see the green energy facility and look at the other aspects of the solid waste facility in general. But we've also had representatives from Canada, Venezuela, China, Japan, Ukraine, all these countries, South Africa, all these countries come into Atlanta because Atlanta's a major hub for the world, and they want to see what the United States is doing with their landfill gas. We're one of the leading companies, one of the leading countries doing something with landfill gas in the world.
All right, and we also have little ones in our neighborhoods here closer to home, DeKalb County, that also take tours. Really, anybody can take a tour, right? If they
Yes, we generally do tours on Friday. That's our slower day, thank goodness. We do have a slower day. But Fridays is generally when we try to have tours, and there's a number that you can call. I think it's 404-244-8823.
Okay.
And you can set up a tour for as small as one or a group if you like, and you can walk through the facility and ask questions and just see it actually operate.
And I've been out there, our crew's been out there, and it is impressive, and we'll give that number again at the end of the show. But let's switch gears a little bit. There's always something innovative happening. What is the plan for the future? Maybe you could talk a little bit about this right here behind me.
Sure. Well, when we started making green energy from methane gas, we realized we weren't going to use all the gas that we had available. And the Board of Commissioners asked us in 2006 to look at other alternatives, and we told them that fuel or putting it in the pipeline was possible. They're expensive conversions, but they're possible. So they allowed the staff to do a feasibility study of making transportation fuel out of methane gas. Today, we're producing 2,750 standard cubic feet per minute of landfill gas. 1,100 make 3.2 megawatts of electricity. That means we've got 1,650 SCFM of gas available for something else.
That is wonderful. Now, if you try to pare it down to terms where the everyday person can understand that, like how many washing machines could you operate or how many cars could you drive? Can you give us a figure like that? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Well, on the electrical side, we're 3.2 megawatts of electricity. We'll make approximately, we'll generate electricity for about 2,500 homes.
That's an impressive number.
Now, the gas is a little bit different conversion. I don't have that number right here as how much gas that would actually do.
Okay, well, we'll let you off the hook on that. Thank you so much for being here today and explaining a little bit of behind the scenes of the operations at the landfill and all the exciting things to come. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me.
All right. Now, don't go anywhere. You want to stay tuned. We've got lots more to come on Let's Talk DeKalb.